Go ahead,
All right.
dude.
All right. Well, holy hell. Just as we're about to start recording, I got a damn phlegm. Good morning, Andrew. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Miguel?
Not a damn thing, dude. I don't know what intro we can use here, but going by our past shows, dang it, literally right as I was trying to freaking record. Um, so let's see, whatever intro we'd like to start with. Good morning. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Miggs. That is Andrew. Don't get it twisted, Lapachet. Um, from Tracy, California. Myself here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to what hopefully is a long, long list of episodes from Miggs and Drew Boxing or Mad Boxing. Welcome to the first episode. This it hopefully is the first one of a long line of episodes. This is kind of a pilot, we can call it that. This is a kind of a test. Hopefully, this is something that we can continue doing and get better doing at. So basically, we just want to talk about boxing, talk about fights, talk about anything, things happening, which is pretty much what we like to do. So first and foremost, Andrew, let me check in with you. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. I gotta get used to this looking at the camera, huh? Because I think I was just staring down for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little bit
no
of a
more
and
no more gambling during the show. This is bullshit, Miguel.
no. Hey, I mean, if you want to share your screen and see what we're gambling on, I don't mind seeing who you got with certain
Well,
stuff.
if we ever do shows on big horse races, that might be possible. Yes,
Mm,
sir. Yep. I can see that.
understandable, understandable. Do you plan to put some money on the Super Bowl or not?
We buy squares.
You buy
That's all.
squares. What does that mean? I don't know shit about that. What's that?
Um the squares for the end of the quarter scores, first, second, third, fourth, whatever the score is.
Uh-huh.
The last two digits of the score, your box, if your box has those.
Mm-hmm.
You never seen this, huh?
No, no, no. Because I've like the only gambling as far as like boxing goes is like what round it'll end in. Like my dad used to like order these Chavez fights, and like we get family come over, and we put like a little raffle kind of thing, right? We cut up little piece of paper and put 1 through 12, and it's like either what round Chavez knocks the dude down in, or what round the fight ends in where he wins. So if you pick out the round, you put it's like a little money pot. You put like
Yeah.
$5 or whatever. That's usually how that works. So that I
Yeah, no, definitely. No, this one is 100 squares on a piece of paper.
okay.
I don't know how they pick the numbers. I think it's through a raffle.
Mhm.
But there's, you'll have the NFC, AFC on both sides of the board, and then they have the numbers, and everyone picks a square. And if the end of the quarter, whoever gets those numbers, they win a pretty good amount of money in some of these. You buy a $50, $100 square, you're gonna get
Mhm.
some good money back with 100 people pitching in.
Oh
So,
damn. All right.
so
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like, I mean, you just explained it, but I never heard that because whenever like I remember one time I did go like put some money on some Super Bowl game, and it was like do you want to take the over under? And I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to do the straight money line, and I didn't win basically. So I probably should have just the guy convinced me, dude. That bookie that was there, the guy that helped me out. He was like, well, these are two high scoring teams, so maybe it'll be or the opposite. I think he's like there were high scoring teams. I was like, okay, let's do the under, and then ended up going over. It's like fuck. I should have just kept the damn money line, asshole.
right, right, right.
Yeah,
Very
those guys
good.
know. Those
Well,
guys know what they're doing.
did you watch the fight last night?
I did. I certainly did. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were. I mean, I did watch the fight. Yeah, there was some UFC fights as well, but those weren't as interesting. Well, at least the undercard was. Generally, the undercard was a lot better, but the undercard was surprisingly pretty damn good. Also on the top rank card on ESPN Plus, they had some pretty solid fights, man. I actually shout out to Sam Nalgero if you're listening. Hopefully in the future, I sent him a message through Facebook Messenger saying because the Maloney's those like twin brothers from Australia and Sam being from Australia himself. I sent him a message like, "Hey, dude, it's a tough fight for Maloney, huh?" He didn't respond, but the time difference, so maybe he'll respond for me later today. But I was surprised how good the undercard was, how entertaining the undercard was as well. But of the main card. But I did absolutely watch it. Do you want to get started on the main event, or you want to go with through any of the undercard bouts?
Well, I only watched ESPN when it
Oh,
started at 7. So I
okay.
watched the last 2 fights.
Yeah,
Um,
the main
so
event. Yeah,
yeah, it really doesn't matter.
yeah.
To
Those are
me.
the two important ones, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, what did you think of that? Yeah, that co-main event? Because the dude who won, that Billy guy, he's super middleweight, and I think that puts him in like a mandatory challenger for a potential fight with Canelo down the line. Dude looked huge. Well, I mean, well, both guys look huge. Unfortunately, his opponent Dick Murdoch couldn't seem to fucking get out of the way of punches. He seemed basically content to just block the punches, but the power of Billy was just like whacking him left and right. Even when he was able to block punches, you can see the impact on him. He was powerful, man. I don't know skill wise how well he'd do with Canelo, but he's got the power. I mean, and he's a big motherfucker. These guys look huge.
Yeah, look, the record was nice. He's
Mhm.
undefeated. He's got a lot of um, knockouts at 22 out of 26 opponents. Um, the coach, what did he say? Something about his engine never stops.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that
It's cardio. Yeah.
that's one great asset to have in boxing, but it's not going to get you all the way to the top, right?
All right.
Still need to, you would like to hear the coach say something a little bit more than, oh man, this guy, he's got a good engine. Because
Yeah.
technically, what is he though? That night, technically, I didn't see too much that I think, would put him in the same level with Canelo. And that's as of right now. Who knows? Maybe this style works for him and he goes up the levels, beating them the same way with just all engine, and he'll get his shot at Saul Alvarez. Right now, I don't want to see the fight.
Mm.
His opponent couldn't block a punch. It was kind of sad.
Mm.
It's like, dude, this guy, I was telling my son, this is how fighters don't wake up. You don't ever want to say that
Mm.
about guys, but I mean, come on, this guy's taking him right off the chin. Nobody's, what the hell? Where's his defense? He had no defense. I mean, it looked like he didn't even try in some of these rounds. His
Mm.
defense probably his whole life was no one could knock me out, right?
Yeah.
That's been his
Yeah.
attitude his whole life. And you know what? When you're getting into your mid-20s or however old he is, you can't do that stuff for 10, 12 years and think you're going to be talking the same. I'm
Mm.
glad they stopped the fight. They needed to stop that fight. It didn't show me too much though. I can't go too much on, and I don't how do you say his last name, bro?
It's basically Billy with an M, so it's Billy.
Mbili.
Yeah.
Mbili. Can't get too much off of this performance.
Mm.
He was in batting practice, let's say.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if he's ready for the World Series just by going off of batting practice.
Yeah, that's understandable. But I mean, I think I might have to play devil's advocate here for a second because with the guys that Canelo has fought at super middleweight, with the exception of already faded fucking Triple G, everybody seemed to try to like box him. Billy Joel, and I mean Billy, yeah, Saunders, right? Saunders and was it Callum Smith, right? They tried to box with him. This dude seems like a fucking brawler, right? Like he just goes in there and mauls the shit out of you, or at least tries to. He took some punches himself. There were a couple of times where like Murdoch, his opponent, was able to sneak in some punches in between his combos, and he was able to catch them. So he's there to be hit, which is not a good indication for him if he plans to, because I think this literally made him the mandatory for Canelo. So if a Canelo fight takes place, I don't even know if Canelo's going to be around by the time this dude is going to be ready to really face him if he ever gets to that point. So I don't know how soon this could potentially happen. I don't know, but he took some shots that he probably shouldn't have taken, so he's very vulnerable to be hit, which isn't a good sign. But he's fucking powerful. He just like come forward juggernaut, just shot, 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 shot. And I don't think Canelo has fought a dude that has that kind of like power and just the ability to keep coming. Sometimes they say like brawl the boxer, right? It's like that you can't outbox the fucking dude, so you have to brawl him. Maybe that's what Billy his only shot is, to be able to brawl Canelo, to be able to like throw these fucking shots. Now, mind you, Canelo's not just going to be there to be hit, of course, but maybe if we've seen already that Canelo has been able to outbox other super middleweights, maybe the foil to that is a power hitter like this motherfucker that just keeps marching forward.
I totally agree with you. It's just the only brawler I want to see Canelo fight right now is
Mm,
Mr. Benavidez, right?
right,
Mr.
right.
Ben, he's earned that title as the
Sure.
Mexican monster. He's earned the shot. And Billy and could you imagine what a M Billy and Benavidez fight would look like, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's even one we could talk about. But right now, it just seems like they Benavidez has earned the shot to Canelo. That's why I believe the fight with Billy needs to be on a back burner as of right now. But the style is correct. We've seen him beat the other guys. Let's try a brawler, and that's why I want Benavidez because he's that
yeah,
brawler that Canelo needs to get through now.
yeah,
But yeah, totally agree with the assessment about the
yeah.
brawling. A different style, a different approach.
Yeah. And about Murdoch, his opponent, yeah, dude, like there's times where like you think somebody getting knocked the fuck out is like really worse, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a dude getting beat over round and round and round and round the way
Yes.
Murdoch was getting slashed, right? So
Yeah.
it's those kind of fights that, yeah, he's not immediately knocked out, but he takes punishment over the course of the fight. And those are the fights that are like long-term effects on him. And his opponent, his corner, was I forget his trainer's name, but he was like, dude, we'll fight another day. We'll fight another day, and called it
Yeah.
right. Like right the right call, because there were a couple of times where like he was cornered, right? He allowed Billy to like push him up against the ropes, and when he teed off on him, there were a few times where the referee looked like he was gonna jump in, and my dad was like, just call it off already. Fuck, like he's not blocking the shots, man, at this point. So let's just not let him go out for another round. And even that round where the fight, the fight was stopped in between rounds. The round before, we thought it was going to be stopped already. Thankfully, they did call it, and it wasn't any worse than it already was. But yeah, it's great to have a chin to be able to take a punch, and when you need it, it's there. But you don't want to be the guy that's known for taking an ass whooping and keep on going. It's like, no, you don't want to be known as that kind of guy. But good for his corner that they were able to because I think even the round before, one of his cornermen had the towel already in his hand, ready to throw it in,
Oh wow.
basically at any point that he was in
Missed
trouble.
that.
So yeah, he had that shit, and he was like a few times, and he ultimately didn't. But there were just a few times where I was expecting Murdoch to like clinch, at least try to buy himself some time, and he wouldn't even do that. So he was in trouble, and once he got in trouble, he didn't seem to know how to get out of it. And thankfully, sometimes the fighters have to be saved from themselves. And I kind of think when those circumstances come up, it's the corner's responsibility to save the fighter from himself. The fighter doesn't want to quit. I'm saying? He feels like a bitch if he quits. So let that responsibility fall on the corner man. Have the corner man be like, dude, are you good? Are you good? You're like, no, okay, cool. Then fuck it. I'll call it. Leave it on me. I'm the guy that's gonna call it, the fighter or the trainer. But good on the trainer for calling it, because yeah, it wasn't gonna. Not only was he taking an ass whooping, but it wasn't gonna get any better.
Now that they got him out of the fight and they saved his career, they need to show this young man the fight tape back, replay it, and tell him if he doesn't have major changes in his style, they can't move forward with him. They're not in this. Nobody should be in this business to see someone deteriorate like that. Taking punches over time, and that's what's going to happen to him if he continues to fight with absolutely no respect for defense. You could see his body language changing during the fight. He went from this like bouncer type attitude, right? Like, yeah, come on, bring it, to looking like Joey from Friends. I don't know, just kind of dizzy, beaten, his mouth all drooped open. He getting hurt after every punch. You seen his body language change during the fight, where it was like you guys said, just stop it. There's no hope. You could see it in his face. He's just taking shots now because he can, and you don't want that. That's not what it's for. If the trainer has been working with him since he was a young man, that means he has a lot of feelings, right? He's close to this guy. You got to sit him down. They got to do a total flip job on the defense. They've got to respect the defense moving forward, or there is no moving forward. This is it. You know what I mean? He has 3 losses, but last night, not only did he take a defeat, he showed he was a long ways away, right? Technically, those guys weren't in the same ballpark, so they got to move on with getting him better defense and then bringing him back up the ranks, from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's understandable. All right, but nonetheless, it was an entertaining fight, right? For as long as it lasted, it was a pretty damn fight. Like there were a couple of times where Murdoch was able to let his hands go, and it was a pretty solid, co-main event.
Yes, until we seen it was going to be a broken record, I believe, right?
Sure.
I think until, yeah, it was. There was some moments where he hit him with some good counter shots, especially the counter right hand. I remember even ESPN bringing that up that Billy was open to a right hand. So yeah, agreeable, but maybe it was the power that he was lacking or something. It wasn't getting to Billy, so it was always going to be the end story was always going to be him just taking a beating, and that's when it started getting too long.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the main event did not carry on too long.
Right, exactly. That brings us to our main event. We have Artur Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, as I thought his name was pronounced back in the day. And Callum Smith was, former lineal super middleweight champ. Beterbiev kept his perfect 100% knockout ratio intact yesterday. For a quick second, I actually thought that Callum was going to hang in there. I thought, all right, this is going to be a moral victory for Smith. He's going to be able to say, I'm the first dude to have gone 12 rounds with Beterbiev. It didn't turn out that way, did it?
No, it did not. Look, I think he's the real reason why Canelo left that division. We said it after the Bivol fight. If he can't get through Bivol, if his punches weren't going to hurt Bivol, what are they going to do against that Artur Beterbiev guy? And this guy has been a train wreck ever since that fight. I don't know. Him versus Bivol is the real deal, man. They've got to get these two guys in the ring before one of them takes a defeat just because they waited so long. Like Bivol beat the undisputed champion, 2 years ago now, or is it just a year ago?
I think it's 2 years ago because Bivol.
We're at least going into 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
We're reaching that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got to see the fight already. Beterbiev and this guy's had a history. They come from the amateurs. Now they're both dominant in the pros. It's got to happen. He's a monster. Power is unreal. I don't know how real he is until he fights the elite, right? But I had him a favorite against Canelo. Against Bivol, I don't know, because Bivol has the size to stand up to him. Technically, and I think you brought this up, technically Bivol's better than Beterbiev, right? He's a better boxer. So he's a boxer puncher, got the same size. It's a great fight. It's a 50-50 fight. One that only diehard boxing fans will fucking truly enjoy. This won't get the views that it should get. We could tell everyone to watch this thing. They won't do it because of the two guys that are fighting.
Sure.
But it has to happen. Yeah, no, look, Callum Smith, I thought he had more losses. When I seen he only had one defeat, I was like, all right, well, he only lost to Canelo. Okay, here we go. And then I was like, oh my God. There was no arm punches needed on this night. No arm punches.
Not at all. There were punches needed from him. Shit, he wasn't throwing enough. That's what I wanted to talk to. Like, I wanted to talk about potential Beterbiev and Bivol after the actual fight here, because first off, Callum is fucking huge. He's fucking tall.
Yes.
So I was hoping maybe he can use that height. You know what I'm saying? Like, fight tall, but right off the bat, he would like hunch over and basically like make himself shorter, almost like an easier target for Beterbiev. And it's like, dude, if you're gonna be long, and it's not like he doesn't have a great jab. He landed the jab a few times, So it's like you can land the jab. He
hurts him.
Yeah.
Did you catch when Callum hurt Beterbiev in this fight? He stuns him, bro. And ESPN noticed it. They all get quiet. They don't want to report it. I think they're all in shock. Like, did that just happen? But Callum Smith, third or fourth round, I'll have to replay it. I recorded it. Third or fourth round, man, he sneaks in a right hand that absolutely stuns Beterbiev. He doesn't move forward. He doesn't go through with it. But Beterbiev instantly, you see him wiggle just a little. Then he backs up immediately. No punches thrown, hands are up, and he's going backwards. And it's like, oh shit, he got him. He did not. Maybe He just didn't. He wasn't able to capitalize on it. But his size was there. He caught him one time. He did have the moment where he hurt the undefeated champ. And he hurt him bad. It was a very good punch landed on the inside, a sneaky right, I believe it was. So
he seemed to have stopped him like in his tracks with that shot.
Yeah. And then I'm telling you, he covers up and he moves backwards. It totally seemed like Smith had hit him with that one. Now, is the fight with Bivol signed?
Not that I'm aware of. No. Like that. It's still the hope that the fight would happen. But as far as I understand, it's not like fucking Wilder and whoever the fuck else was gonna Wilder and Joshua. Like it wasn't one of those things. Like the fight was. It was basically supposed to be like these guys win these fights here with Bivol and his previous opponent and fucking Beterbiev with Callum here, then that's the next anticipated fight. Thankfully, none of these guys are PBC guys, so there's a very, very good chance that we're gonna get the fight actually done. What's his name? Callum Smith is a matchroom guy. He's with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was there, if I recall correctly. So is Bivol. Bivol's a fucking matchroom guy, or at least his fights are on DAZN. So it's doable. There's no real like hurdle between these two dudes that we would see normally with like PBC guys or some shit like that, right? So neither of them are that. So it makes it seem as though the fight is easier to be made. Like both corners or both sides are more willing to actually make the fight. But as I understand it, it's not signed. It's just okay, these guys won their fight. So
and Miguel, there's nothing left. There's absolutely nothing left.
There's nothing left. Exactly.
It's time to cash in on the biggest fight there, and the winner gets to cash in the rest of his career. You know what I mean? Because the winner of that fight will then be the king of the division, meaning any negotiating he's in from that point on, he's the king of that division.
Sure.
And it's time for that to happen. They're both in their 30s. The guy already beat Canelo. He not only did Bivol beat him, he beat him out of the division.
Yeah.
He didn't just beat him. You know what I mean? He closed that case. Like, let's give the guy his paycheck already. So that needs to happen, and you're right. Bob Arum said last night, it is not done yet. I wish I had Lee's voice. Sorry, you guys. You ain't going to get Lee's voice on this no more. It's going to be straight reading now. That sucks. We're going to have AI. We're going to have AI. We got to get Lee's Bob Arum into AI and bring that fucking back.
Yeah.
Would do something. Gosh darn it.
Bring Bob back.
But Bob Arum said it's not done yet, but absolutely we want to do it. So you're right, Miguel. Nothing is done yet.
Yeah, that's fine. But great performance.
That means Bivol will be fighting Callum Smith in a few months. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You give Callum another chance. Hey, he won't take the ass whooping that he took. I mean, he'll get a schooling maybe, but he sure as hell won't get the ass whooping that he got from fucking Beterbiev over here. Because I mean, dude, like he was a fucking. I mean, he's basically like a a more I don't know, heavier Triple G when Triple G was the middleweight monster. Just walking forward, taking shots, can take the shots and walk through them. And man, his power was just on display. And I for a quick second, I thought Callum was gonna at least hold on and have a moral victory in saying that I went 12 full rounds with him, but he kept coming at him Beterbiev, and he kept that 100% knockout ratio intact. So we're like, damn, like all right, it was harder than maybe we had originally thought, but we thought maybe with Callum's size, he'd be able to take the punches and be able to go the full 12 rounds, but he did nonetheless. Very admirable, performance by Callum Smith. He doesn't wanna, quit. He had never been knocked down even before this fight, and he got dropped a couple of times in this one. So you can tell that it's in a different ballpark. And I know that oftentimes, like, I know there's a lot of Canelo haters out there, and I get it. People hate that motherfucker. So whenever he beats these guys, it's always like, oh, it wasn't that big anyway. When he beat Callum Smith, it was kind of a big deal. Yeah, maybe he wasn't on his level, but right after that, he was up to 175, and then he knocks out some fucking people, right? What's his name? Smith, I'm saying. So it's not like he fucking went completely downhill after the ass whooping that he got from Canelo. He did something in the light heavyweight division, and he earned himself another spot over here. So having seen Callum last as long as he did against fucking Beterbiev, it gives a lot more credibility to that victory from Canelo. But he basically, you know, let everything in the ring there, Smith, I'm saying, and it didn't go his way, you know, so be it. But very, you know, what's the word? Admirable performance by him, even though it didn't went his way. You know, he took whatever he did, he unloaded whatever he was able to. For a quick second, he stopped him. He stopped Beterbiev. He just wasn't able to take advantage of it. Either he didn't realize that he had stunned him, or maybe he was still kind of hurt himself, and he's like, shit, I don't want to like march forward and potentially get caught with something opening up because I saw that he was hurt. It seemed like he was hesitant to go in for like the kill, so to speak. Had he noticed, if he did notice that he stunned Beterbiev, but nonetheless, a very spirited effort by Smith. You know, hats off to him. Got the ass whooping. Hopefully, he got, you know, paid handsomely for the ass whooping. But that leaves us with a potential Beterbiev and Bivol. Now, before the fight even gets signed, because we anticipate that it will. Historically, you know, usually the better boxers are the ones that tend to win these kind of fights, right? When they fight brawlers or guys who have more power, think like Jeff Lacey, Joe Calzaghe, right? Floyd and Manny. Usually the guys who are the better boxers are the ones that come out the victor. So that being said, it would look as though the better boxer, you know, saying between Beterbiev and Bivol is Bivol. So there's his chance of winning, but we have seen sometimes where it's just the power is just too much, and the brawler, the guy coming forward, is the one who ends up taking the victory, just because he's able to outlast the other dude. So without really having a firm prediction, should Beterbiev and Bivol happen in the near future, who do you got?
I always like the brawler. I always have. I know boxing. I know technically is always better to go Look, obviously Bivol's a favorite. You're right.
Sure.
Bivol's a favorite. But my heart, my gambling desire is gonna want to go on the underdog, and is gonna want to go with the power. And I know Beterbiev's probably gonna be the underdog, and his power is real. So
a slight underdog, I would say. No, I don't think it'll be him. It'll be major.
Well, I'm thinking 3-1 because of the gambling. Bivol's just so much. He's a bigger fighter, bigger star. He beat Canelo, right? And this is a major fight, so I think the money would go on Bivol. We will see, but no, I think Bivol is going to be the favorite. What are you thinking? It's going to be like one of those 150 to 185s? Something that minus 150 plus 185 sort of deal.
Yeah, because I mean, like if anybody who's paying attention, I mean, not many people, but would see Beterbiev and his power, they'd be like, oh shit, that's a different kind of thing, you know. But it's just that there aren't that many eyes on Beterbiev as there are on Bivol because of Bivol's win over Canelo.
At a plus 185, Miguel, I still take that though, because I'm still getting 185 for every $100 that I do. So I would still take a plus 185 with Beterbiev.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, Miguel, this is live. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking it was going to be a slight favorite. I didn't think it would be like more so.
Yeah, even at plus 185, I still like that one. You know, if they get into that 110 bullshit, I probably won't even bet the fight. They get it to that low in the numbers because it won't be worth it to me. But for Callum Smith, it's funny how he said he gets the shot. What luck in life they say is all about timing. I always bring it up. Life is all about timing. For a lot of things. What timing? The guy has to fight Saul Alvarez, Arthur Beterbiev, and maybe Dimitri Bivol all in his career at the same weight division. I seen that only one other time. I was looking up the fighter. I used to dissect Chavez's career, bro. I always made arguments for Julio Cesar Chavez, so I used to break down a lot of his pro record. And there was a fighter on there named Ruben Castillo that he fought. He defended his title against. When you go to Ruben Castillo's record, the guy had fought in Salvador Sanchez and Alexis Arguero before he had to fight Chavez. It was like, are you fucking serious? What's the luck, bro? Salvador Sanchez, Alexis Aguero, and then you got to face Julio Cesar Chavez. Obviously, he won none of those belts.
Clearly, we could have guessed that one.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just BS. And Callum Smith is like, man, what did I do? What did I do to the boxing gods that deserve fucking Saul Alvarez, Better Beef, and maybe Bivol next? Because honestly, maybe they get the fight signed next. You know, that's what everyone wants. But most likely they're gonna do that one warm-up fight in between, right? I mean, that's how these super mega fights usually go. And you know, on the other side of the pond, this is a mega fight. You can't get any bigger. Over there, they're going to cash in on this thing. This is just how big can we make it in America? The last step possibly is putting Dimitri Bivol on ESPN or wherever they can get the biggest audience, and then you put him in with the guy who just faced Saul Alvarez and Better Beef. The guy's record is still kind of cool, right? He only has 2 losses. It's not, you know, to the average Joe, that's not a big thing, even though diehards know he actually lost to the 2 biggest names of his career, you know, and last night didn't look, you know, got knocked out finally. So that's also a bit negative for an older fighter, right? When you finally hit the canvas and then you get stopped, that's not a good sign for an older fighter. But on paper, he only has 2 losses, so it still looks kind of good. So that's why I say, that's why I'm thinking, leaning towards the Bivol Top Rank is going to milk this thing one more time. But I hope not. I do hope they go straight to this next fight.
Well, this kind of felt like the warm-ups, no? I mean, this kind of felt like the, him facing Callum and then Bivol with his previous opponent. That's kind of was the thing. I thought, like, because prior to this, I think there was a long layoff, I think, for both these dudes, Bivol in particular, but I think Better Beef as well, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to look that up. But I thought this was it. This was like, shake off.
Bob Arum's, and then Bob Arum's comments is going to tell us otherwise. I think Bob Arum last night would have been like, we got the fight. The fight's going to be in a few months. You right? We signed. We're good. Or, we're very close. Last night he was like, yeah, no, nothing's done yet. I'm going to give him a call on Monday. Like, shit.
Yeah, because like just looking up Better Beef, like before his fight with Callum, it was with that Yardy guy back in like January. So it's like the whole that's a whole year, and Bivol was like I think a little longer. So I thought this, and mind you, this fight with Callum was supposed to take place back in August, I think it was, and I think something happened with what did they say? Somebody got sick or something, or some sort of infection. I think it was Better Beef himself, but basically got postponed, so it ended up being a full year from the last time that he fought. And Bivol was roughly the same thing. So I thought this was the fight to like shake off the fucking ring rust. I don't know. What would you think would be the better option to them to fight now, or to still take one more tune-up fight to shake off more of the ring rust?
Depends on how big the fight is in the UK and in Russia, on that side. It really does, because if the fight's huge over there, we're talking, if they can put these 2 guys on the same card, and it's happened before, this isn't like me just doing a dream thing here. Yeah. Mega fights of this caliber have seen 2 fighters do a warm-up fight on the same night to announce theirs. I remember Chavez De La Hoya, I think, was one of the last times I remember it happening. Okay. Do you remember that? Chavez fought Walker. Damn, watch this, dude. I think De La Hoya fought Tyson. You can go back to Daryl Tyson. Damn, this is gonna be awesome. Chavez fought Walker. Do you remember when he fought the Pink Panther? That tall dude?
Vaguely. I remember the Pink Panther stuff, but I
believe that's the same night De La Hoya, and then they announced their fight. But it's happened. Look, if that fight can do 80,000 fans, right? They know they're gonna cash out on a live gate and no one's gonna lose. These 2 guys right now, they look unbeatable, right? They're the best in the division right now, these 2. Why not milk it one more time? You get the eyes on these guys one more time, because it's all about the American dollar right now, or even Mexico might, even the Mexican boxing fan might be involved in this. It's all about their money too, their attachment to Bivol. So you get it on the big stage one more time, and then they announce it. I think that's the better way to go. And like I said, in the right world, it's to go straight to the fight. I get that. I'm thinking like a boxing promoter right now, right? And because Bob Arum said what he said last night, I'm thinking they're going to milk it one more time. And for me, they might have to do the thing, Miguel, where they say, all right, both of you guys are the best of the best. How are we going to determine the size of the pots? Maybe this next fight, they're going to put them, around the same time, same size venue, and then try to see whose numbers are better, and then go into their mega fight with those numbers as at least a negotiating, leverage for each guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there any danger, and I use the word danger kind of loosely, but danger in potentially the fight taking place in the Middle East and not somewhere else? Like if they have enough of a deep pocket to make the pot, so to speak, as you mentioned, bigger for them.
There it is. You hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. What the fuck? I called Chavez tight. Dude, what heavyweight tournament did we just watch, Miguel?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
With the co-main event and the main event of supposed to be setting up, the next major big fight. Because that's what
that's what that whole thing was about. That whole thing was for Joshua and Wilder, man. That's what that whole thing was about. That's yes. This fight is built for the Middle East. You're absolutely right. Because that's the UK. That's all their playground, dude. That's why that place is becoming so big. Right now, DAZN's got a lot of money. They've got a lot of fighters fighting under there. And his playground is Saudi Arabia. I don't think Saudi Arabia would be a major factor if Eddie Hearn wasn't involved in boxing. I really don't. It wouldn't have been as big as fast, if that's a better way of saying it. Their connection to Eddie Hearn in the UK and Frank Warren and all those guys and all those fighters, Anthony Joshua, Eubank, Tyson Fury, all of these guys have been seen partying in Dubai, not in Las Vegas. They barely started coming to Las Vegas. It was all Dubai at first, So you're absolutely right. These two men, dude, they're going to make some huge money out there. And yeah, I would probably try to go out there and sell a 2-fight deal, a 2-night thing, man. We'll put them both on the same card, and then we'll bring it back as the main event. And that's a hell of a thing for both of those guys' career. That's a great plan right there for them.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's why I kind of use the word danger loosely because of how few fights, Vegas is now getting major fights and they're going over there now. So it's like, damn, it seems like now whenever people start to think, oh, big fight, like people are starting to think less and less Vegas and more fucking Middle East.
And Miguel, I'm not trying to be the guy racist, but Arthur Beterbiev is a real true Muslim, right? His religion.
Oh, is he? Maybe. I'm not sure.
Believe he is. I believe he is, and that
I'm gonna look it up right now.
That'll put him on another level, over there in Dubai.
He is, dude. I just pulled him up right now. It's like he's a devoted Muslim. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's understandable. A lot of people from that part of the country. I mean, probably ethnicity, like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam. These UFC fighters who are that nationality. They tend to be devout Muslims, and that's even more of a reason, huh? Fuck.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. I need to call Bob Arum's probably already on it.
Yeah, I know. He's like, Eddie, we got to do this, and he's like, yeah, sure, we'll figure it out.
It's time to cash in.
It really is. Well, that's something to look forward to in 2024. 2023 brought us a lot of really entertaining fights. Hopefully that continues in 2024. That's something that we're anticipating happen. So we're at the very, very beginning of 2024, and things are already looking pretty promising. So, what do you think the chances are that we're actually going to get to see Beterbiev and Bivol at some point at 2024? Like, let's say for the sake of timeline time-wise, let's say they'll fight one more time against somebody else around maybe June, and then the end of the year, mega fight.
You're probably right because Canelo gets the month of May, correct? He's going to get that slot, that pay-per-view slot, and I think their next fight is going to be a pay-per-view fight. They've got to start seeing where they're going to land on the pay-per-view because I believe when Bivol and Better Be fight with the strong undercard that Top Rank has been known to do. They can help that out. This thing's going pay-per-view. So there, you're right. It's probably going to be a summertime thing if they don't go straight to the fight. But then, yeah, it would be in the fall that these two would finally meet each other. And look, there's nothing else left. Yarde has fought in, what was it, B-Ball twice already? Or Better Beef?
Better Beef, yeah.
Yeah. B-Ball can't get his rematch. That's dead in the water. You know, like there's nowhere left to turn. There's no up-and-comer that we want to see them face. This is the fight everyone wants. I think the only thing left to do is either give us the announcement while they fight on the same card, or just go straight to the fight. But that's the only thing left for their two careers. I mean, come on, the guys are both in their 30s. You know, it's got to happen. It's just got to happen.
But like, I don't know. I don't like right offhand. I don't know about their amateur pedigree. But Better Be or Bivol at least, he's barely like in the 20s as far as his fights go. So maybe he's old in the sense of age or older than normal boxers. But as far as like miles in the ring or punishment, like it hasn't been that much. His fights are barely in the 22s. You know. So granted, they're a little bit on the older side, but haven't really taken that much of a beating in the ring. Bivol at least.
Yeah, and you're probably right. If you looked at his amateur record, he might have hundreds of fights where it's like, all right, well, because we all seen what happened to Loma. You know, Loma was the Matrix, and then it just seems like, you know, overnight he was not the Matrix anymore. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you have these older guys that come in. You know, yes, their technique is great at 30 years of age, but 3 years after that, they slip just that much. You know, it's just that little. It's an inch, right? All sports, they always say, is a game of inches. In boxing, it's the worst inch. That inch, boy, does that inch cost you. You understand?
Sure.
We're not talking a fucking strike here. We're talking a punch on the chin. So that little inch means a lot. And when you start losing it and your whole career was basically off of your movement, your God-gifted ability, yeah, that really hurts for any fighter. So and Dimitri and Better Be don't have the same style as Loma, but we all know they're in their mid 30s, man. What I want to say, they said Better Be was 33 last night. He's 32 or 33 years old.
Bivol, I just pulled it up right now. Bivol is 33. In fact, he just turned 33 back in December. Better Be is 38, and he'll turn 39 on the 21st of this month.
Yeah, so this has to happen.
And 40 at this point.
Yeah, this has to happen. Yeah. And that's if he's not lying to us.
You know what's funny? I've actually heard, it was a rumor, and I've heard this, that Brazilian men are like American women when it comes to their age. Like, they don't like to tell people their age. Yeah, I heard that shit, you know? I was like, what the fuck? Because that was like UFC dude back in the day who, like, you know, didn't want to tell people his age and shit. It's like, what the fuck? And apparently it's a Brazilian man thing. And so, like, no. You don't ask a man his age. Like, is that how it is? Like, All right. Well, that's something to look forward to in 2024. Do you have any stories that you want to talk about as far as news or boxing news, besides obviously last night's fights that we just went over? Anything in particular, or any specific, you know, junior welterweights you want to talk about, perhaps, that has come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, yes, the whole junior welterweight division's on notice right now. I mean, you got Lopez Telefimo making noise right now, right? Calling out Terrence Crawford, which is an absolute great fight. Look, that's your 2024 dream match right there. Because no matter how you feel about Lopez's markability, the dude's a legend. What he's done is legendary, timing or not. He's done it twice, undisputed, 2 divisions, taken out 2 great champions, Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. Now you're putting him in the ring with Terrence Crawford, who's just a monster right now. Could you imagine? It's a Hollywood storyline if this kid, Telefimo, and his father go all the way up there, bro. They go all the way to Terrence Crawford and win that one too. I don't give a shit how much. 6. I don't care how much you clown his dad. Did you see when Bill Haney said about Telefimo's dad, where he's going to go meet him at when he goes back to Vegas? Did you hear his response?
No.
He goes, you mean I got to go to the liquor store? I'll go to the liquor store, see if he's there. I was like, "Ah,
Damn.
yeah, that was fucked up. That was a low blow, man. Low blow. Them there fighting words.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So I'm not trying to throw gas on that fire or anything. I'm just saying that was Bill Haney said that about Telefimo Lopez Sr. He's a senior, right? Yeah, he's a senior.
Yeah. Shots fired. Shots fired.
So that's the huge talk right now. And then you got the Ryan Garcia saga, right? This fucking drama. He's a drama out of the ring, bro. His professional career is a soap opera right now. His personal life is a fucking soap opera right now. Like, this kid is New Jersey Shore boxing. You know, yeah. I'm dead serious.
He's the situation. He's that kind of person. And that's gonna be his fucking fuck King Ryan. Like, no. It's Ryan, the situation, fucking Garcia, because it's like one thing after another. I get the impression that because he's as young as he is, he's got a lot of people in his ear and he's listening to them. Like, he's listening to fucking all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there isn't a specific person that like can keep him centered, because everything from, you know, his initial request to Golden Boy saying, I want Devin Haney, to then now hanging out with fucking Mayweather and then saying, no, now I want Rolly. It's like, fuck is flopping back and forth depending on who's in his ear at any given time.
Yeah, and I'm going to take this a step further, because Ryan Garcia is not an orphan. Ryan Garcia is not from the streets making it, you know, I come from the struggle. His parents are making bad decisions for this kid. Sorry. His dad don't have a good business IQ in this sport of boxing. I'm sorry. There's too many voices in his ear. Why? He has two parents, I thought, that are in his locker room at all times. You can't figure out he's getting bad advice from certain people. You can't. If this kid is so young, which I'm sorry, what is he? He's got to be 24 or something by now. How old is Ryan?
25.
25. Yeah, man. We got to start at a certain point. We got to clip his wings too, right? Or you know, let him fly, throw him out. So he's 25. He's getting up there in age, but I blame his dad too for being being the bad advice in his ear, because I think at the end of the day, I think he is listening to his mom and dad, and they're giving him bad advice too. And listen, this is from me on the outside. I got no evidence of it. I'm just saying, if his parents are that close in his career, how can he be getting it this wrong? Because right now, your personal life is shit. I don't know what your father did as raising you as a fucking man, but it's shit right now. What he did on social media is pathetic, bro. Yeah. You don't do that to a woman that you said you loved. You put a ring on her finger and said this was the one. You know, you had there was no truth to that day. When you go on social media and announce a birth, and it would an hour later or so announce a divorce. Very, very sad. If I was his dad, I would have gave him a spanking. At 25, I don't give a fuck. We're going to a house and we're exchanging some words, man, because you made his name look bad that day. That's very irresponsible at the age of 25. And then the little thing that he keeps going over with De La Hoya and Hopkins about. Listen, bro, you ain't never been as big as you were without these two men in your life. You know, he keeps acting like he made this money, or he was Ryan Garcia before fucking Golden Boy.
Right.
You know, and Miguel, you've seen me before.
Yeah.
Golden Boy, this isn't the first time they made a superstar, man.
Right.
We watched him make Canelo the biggest sports signing in the world, not just boxing. Before Major League Baseball and football caught on to what was going on in the future of sports, Oscar De La Hoya had this guy a $350 million contract.
Yeah.
It's
that's that one.
Yeah, it's like, dude, back up on don't bite the fucking hand that feeds you, because you sent me something, Miguel, this week. Al Heyman has it seems like a lot of his relationships end with people not being too happy about where their career went, where the money is.
Sure.
Saul Alvarez has never complained about the money leaving Golden Boy.
Yeah. No, that's he seems like it has the potential to go like worse, because there was a point where Ryan stepped away from the sport, citing mental health issues and talking about kind of like set things straight. And then he comes back, and then we're basically in the same spot that we were. Because like my first thought was like, dude, you got so much fucking drama and so much heat right now. Take a step back, relax, and then come back. But it's like, oh, what the fuck? He already did that. Like, damn, son, you can only hit the reset button so many times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what the fuck is going on in his head or in his life or the people around him that allow this shit to happen? And again, at some point, he's gonna, he has to take responsibility for his own fucking decisions and his own choices because, it's his career at the end of the day. But he's being pulled in so many fucking directions, and it seems like anytime it seems coordinated. Like first he gets pulled over here, which is fine. Then he gets pulled over here, he's fine. So he's like satisfying a bunch of people, making sure that they're all fucking pacified, and ultimately his career is suffering from it. You know what I'm saying? So I at this point, because from what I predicted, some time ago, it looks like his fight with Rolly is probably the one that's going to be the most likely to happen. I don't think he's going to get Haney yet, even though he probably wanted it, right, at one point at least. But now that he's talking about Rolly, it seems like that's most likely. And even before he called out Haney, I figured he was going to fight Rolly anyway, because realistically, it makes sense. He's got a little bit of a beef and history with him, right? Rolly has a belt, kind of, and he's going to probably get the strap off of him and then turn it around, and then he's got a little bit more leverage whenever he negotiates with Haney or anybody else at 140 with a belt now, So that is most likely what is going to happen. He's going to end up fighting Rolly. When or how or anything like that, that part we don't know. We're going to see that viral clip of him and Rolly sparring back in the day that is going to be, is going to be used as the fucking build up for this fight, because there's the backstory there. I guess, yeah. I mean, like, I don't think he's after coming off that loss with fucking with Gervonta, that's like the last major fight that he's had. I don't think he deserves another one yet. Let him get some fights in at 140. Let him fight Rolly. Let him defend the belt maybe before he can start jumping onto like the big names. Fuck, give him Regis for all you fuck. Like, why not? A former champion? Why not? I'll take it before he gets an opportunity at the big guns at 140.
Yeah, we talked about this before. To me, it's all about the contract with Golden Boy. I think we figured out that he had more fights with Golden Boy, so the Rolly Romero fight makes sense when you talk about De La Hoya stringing him out. Eventually, before this contract is over, look, this thing, if Al Heyman was smart, and I know it sounds dumb, but at 25, don't be surprised if the advice is, let's end this with the Muhammad Ali Act in court, because Oscars and Bernard are going to put him into a fight that is not going to send him to the PBC undefeated.
Yeah.
Since Gervonta Davis, he will take another defeat before signing with Al Heyman and PBC all the way through.
Sure.
Bernard and Hopkins and Bernard, they've been in this game too long. Now they're in that position that they used to get mad at promoters, right? Oh, I know that motherfucker did that, right? Now you're in that position.
Yeah.
You have a young man that is fucking talking shit about you guys, talking shit about your promotional company. You kind of already see the future with Garcia. He's going to PBC, right? He's at least, Miguel, if he's not with PBC signed totally, he's totally in on the Al Heyman game plan, because it's always his fight futures always seems to be whatever lines up with what Al Heyman wants now. Pitbull Cruz, Rolly Romero. These are all Al Heyman fighters. Of course, that's, oh yeah, tell Oscar I want either Pitbull or Rolly. Oh, what happened to Devin Haney? Al Heyman was like, fuck no, because Haney's going to beat the fuck out of you, and then I don't have those titles. I don't have that leverage, right? Haney and DAZN will have that leverage. So even if he's not signed with PBC on paper, we all know Al Heyman's Ryan Garcia's dad right now. It's just that's what it is. And I think Bernard knows that. I think Oscar knows that. You know, the only thing that Oscar has over Ryan is that contract. And let's hope that that contract is really strong and holds up in court. Because the day that Oscar and Bernard walk in and go, fuck what Al Heyman says. I don't give a fuck what he says. He's your advisor, motherfucker. We know next week you're going to be signed to him. You're fighting Devin fucking Haney today. He's out. He's going to be in court. They don't want to do it. They're looking against my interests and all that other shit. And listen, to the fighters that had to use the Muhammad Ali Act in an honest way, I'm not talking down on you. We're talking about the guys that have held out of fights using this bullshit to promoters, right? Yeah. That's where I think this fight ends up, or this fighter in Ryan Garcia. So that's the sad part about boxing, right? So that's what I see. So if I'm Oscar and them, you want to give him Rolly Romero because I don't even have him beating Pitbull Cruz right now. I really don't. And Al Heyman might know that.
Do you have him beating Rolly?
Yes. Oh fuck yeah! I have everybody beating Rolly. Rolly Romero's a joke. No, he is. He's a joke, bro. Rolly Romero is popular because of social media, sparring videotapes. The guy's an absolute, you know, he's a gold on the microphone, right? I always thought of him as a poor man's Hector Camacho, man. The guy's really fast, he's sharp, you know, he's marketable, but he's not Hector. Hector Camacho would have whooped his ass in the ring. He is not him in the ring, but I would say he's like a Gabe Rosado. He's another one of those. Just he's always going to sell a ticket. But then as soon as he gets in the fight won't be as good as he thought it was going to be. He loses all the time. Rosado got like fucking 14 losses right now. I have no faith in Rolly Romero.
All right. Well, I was kind of like leaning toward my next question because I was going to say that is, let's say for the sake of argument that the Haney fight, you know, doesn't come through, which is we know that's kind of the direction that Golden Boy was trying to get with, right? It's like, all right, if your ass is gonna leave, we're gonna give you that L one more time before you get the fuck out of here, and damn near guarantee you'll get that L against fucking Haney. But if that doesn't happen, okay, Rolly, okay, fine. But you don't even think he can beat Cruz. I'm talking about Ryan. When it comes to Pitbull takes.
Pitbull's too much man for him. He's not a little boy. When you get in that ring, we're not fucking playing patty cake. We're going to war, and I don't know if Ryan's ready for war. We already seen what Ryan did when the fucking fire got turned up from Tank, all right? And we all know Cruz can go into that fire. He went into that fire and exchanged a lot of punches with that Tank, and never got hurt, went 12 rounds, lost a close decision. He's going to walk through Ryan Garcia, bro. That's going to be a walk in the park, if you ask me. I don't know what round it stops in, but I don't think he's ever in any danger against Ryan Garcia. He's just going to keep coming forward. And Ryan just he bowed down. Come on. He went to a knee on a ghost body shot. So no, I got no faith in Ryan Garcia against Pitbull Cruz. That's where Bernard says, you know, all that lies come out in the ring. You know what I mean? Remember when Bernard said that? That's one of those fights where, you know, your flaws will be shown on that night. And I think Ryan Garcia's biggest flaw in boxing right now is his heart. Does he have the heart to be a boxer, or does he have the heart to be one of these fucking social media Jake Paul boxers, right? That's why he's always calling out that MMA guy too. He wants to cash in on fights like that. He's not looking for Devin Haney. He's looking for the Floyd Mayweather, let's rob the bank bullshit with the Rolly Romero. That's why they want Rolly Romero. Everybody who calls out Rolly Romero that's above him, we all know why you're doing it. you want the bit easy payday. It's an easy fight. I get it, but it doesn't, you know, you're not more of a boxer or a fighter because of it. We all know what you're doing. You're robbing the bank there. That's the Floyd Mayweather way. The Oscar De La Hoya way is, if you're the fucking man, you fight the man from here on out. It's the Teofimo Lopez way. I'm sorry. Teofimo Lopez has fought the man. Devin Haney's been fighting the man. They're not looking for easy paydays. You know what I'm saying? It's Terrence Crawford. I don't think would take a fight with Rolly Romero right now. He just wouldn't do it. They want to make the biggest paychecks. Garcia, because of his heart, is looking for the easiest fight right now.
Yeah, that sounds, and like sometimes I don't know who to believe when I hear some of the shit on on the internet, because supposedly Garcia talking about Pitbull not wanting to fight him, but then Pitbull having a video saying like, no, dude, I've been wanting to fight you for fucking ever. So you kind of don't know who to believe, because I mean, realistically, I would be more interested in a fight between Pitbull and Ryan than it would be Raleigh and fucking Ryan. Like, I don't, that interests me too much, right? And I think it would give. Pitbull got a little bit of notoriety because of that fight with Gervonta, with going the full 12 rounds and looking not as bad, I guess, because as other Gervonta opponents. And on top of the fact that he won 12 rounds with Gervonta when Ryan couldn't. So it's like, oh shit, that to me, I think not only is it more intriguing, but I think it has more general public appeal. You know, people know Pitbull to some degree because of his fight with Gervonta, and people know Ryan, obviously. So it would kind of suck if Ryan does go that direction, although it seems like he's going to go in the direction of Rolly. I think the more intriguing fight for not just us fans, but like the general public, would be a fight with Pitbull Cruz.
Cruz deserves it. And Cruz deserves it. This is bullshit that Al Heyman has made him wait so long after the performance that he had with Tank. With Tank now being the face of boxing, or one of the faces of boxing, the headliners, the sellouts, why are we waiting so long for Cruz? Cruz made a big splash on that night. He has a huge fan base. Bro, I'm telling you, Garcia, Cruz, Cinco de Mayo weekend, there's a little bit worried for Canelo if his opponent isn't Benavidez, bro. Yeah. Munguia? I'm sorry, bro. I don't think Munguia outsells Cruz versus Garcia. If I'm Al Heyman, De La Hoya, I'm actually going, hey, we might have a fight that bumps the fucking king of the sport right now, as long as it's not Benavidez, because Munguia is just not that guy, bro. And we've seen Saul doesn't sell if it's not the guy on the other side. His last fight was a fucking bogus pay-per-view sales. The fight before that was bogus pay-per-view. Like there's evidence right now that Saul Alvarez cannot sell a pay-per-view fight unless the other guy is someone with a name, you know? And Munguia is not that name. Benavidez is definitely that name. Right now, Benavidez, Canelo does 1 million buys. If I'm Saul Alvarez, I'm thinking if you want to, Oscar, man, this needs to get out to Oscar. Oscar has a chance to fucking really hurt his little divorce, his divorced wife over there.
His bitter breakup. All right. Well, on that note, do you think, and on staying on the subject of 140s, because we're going to have next month the man at 140, Teofimo Lopez, putting his straps on the line against Jaime Ortiz. That's a pretty intriguing fight. I think it's going to be here. I think it's are they going to do like and I think I saw it, and maybe because I'm so used to having fights on Saturday. I think, does that fight fall on a Thursday or some shit, or am I getting confused with another fight? Because like I think that weekend is fucking Super Bowl weekend, and of course we're gonna have the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. So if I'm not mistaken, I think they're gonna try to do it. I want to say Joe Tessitore mentioned that yesterday at the broadcast, the Top Rank card, about they're trying to do something similar to like the Formula One that happened last year here in Vegas, where like whatever who was it, Shakur? I think Shakur.
Yeah, I was gonna just say. Hey, bro, that doesn't surprise me. If the fight is on Super Bowl weekend, then it's very possible that he's fighting on Thursday. They've done it before for Super Bowl weekend, and they did it for what you just said, the Formula One racing.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, because I think it's gonna be like on a fucking was that on Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, February 8th, I believe that's what it is, because it's the Super Bowl weekend. So That's pretty intriguing. I don't know. I mean, Jaime, I keep calling him Jaime, but it's like Jermaine, or how the fuck you want to pronounce his name. He's a pretty good solid fighter, and he's a formidable opponent. I don't know if he's enough to, at least scare Teofimo. I don't think it's enough for that. But let's say Teofimo gets past, most likely his opponent Ortiz. Could we be looking at Teofimo Haney at 2024? Should he get past Ortiz here?
That's the world is really Lopez's right now. I think wherever he wants to do is what's going to happen. I'm dead serious on that. He holds all the cards. Haney is not a bigger draw, in my opinion, than what. If that fight was to take place, I think Lopez would be the favorite. I think ESPN, Disney, Bob Arum would have him in a bigger light than what Eddie Hearn could generate for Devin Haney. I do think the fight with Crawford is very doable, especially if Lopez looks good. Because look, I mean, diehards know Crawford, Spence is dead in the water. Look, you know what they're doing. That those eye surgery to me was just them to prolong that rematch. We'll do it 2 years from now. How old will Terrence Crawford be? Fucking a year and a half from now. How old is he then? Then maybe you'll have a shot. They're always. I would forget about the Spence thing if I'm Terrence Crawford. He got eye surgery. We all thought he was a little punch drunk in the first fight. Now he's got another surgery on the eye. Let's let him go. You're too small for Saul Alvarez. That's another one I wish they would stop trying to fucking throw down our throats. Is this, why do we have weight divisions, bro? If Terrence Crawford can fight Saul Alvarez, why are there fucking weight divisions? So I hope that one goes away. The best fight for him is going to be maybe Virgil Ortiz in the next year or so at welterweight. That's going to be, if Virgil Ortiz keeps knocking dudes out, he's got a 100% knockout ratio. That's going to be a huge fight, him and Crawford. And then you got the Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez fight for Crawford. He has 2 fights that could carry him in to 2025 if he really wanted to. Being Lopez first, he could really set up the Lopez fight right now for a mega fight in the summer. Take a warm-up fight in this first part of the year because it'll be a sparring match at best, right? And then, fuck, man, put Virgil in with someone huge in between those 2 fights, or, and then you can move that fight on to next to 2025. I mean, Terrence Crawford has a game plan right now, especially because he's done business with both companies. Him and Virgil seem to be good friends. There are all pictures of them when Virgil was younger, I've seen on the internet. So I don't want Crawford at 154. I don't want him at definitely at no fucking 160. It's absurd that they keep talking about him moving up to middleweight. So yeah, Lopez, he has the option of fighting the king of the sport right now. He has the option of being the king of his division and being the side A, or whatever you want to say it, against anybody moving it. Ryan Garcia is not bigger than Teofimo Lopez will laugh at Garcia. And you see Lopez is doing commercials now. Lopez is a headliner on pay-per-view. He's fought in all over the world. Like, Lopez is becoming that guy. We need to see if the Honduras fan base, the Honduras American fan base, is going to respond to him. He doesn't even need his countrymen. Or his grandparents' countrymen, whoever comes from Honduras. He really doesn't need that country. He needs the Americans, Honduras Americans, here to show up for him at New York, show up for him here at Las Vegas. If he could get 20,000 of them to show up, he's doing fine, right? So he needs if I was them, I would be playing more of that angle if I'm Teofimo moving forward, than trying to, see if there's some, I'm going to go back to Honduras and, try to learn the language and all that. But as far as a boxing star, the dude is the cream of the crop right now. I mean, the wins that he has, the titles that he has at his age. I totally want the Crawford fight. That's a fucking huge fight, bro, if him and Crawford were to get it on. I mean, we're talking the undisputed welterweight, lightweight versus the lightweight junior welterweight. Where you know how many titles are in the line? And I would have them, if I'm the promoter, I would tell both fighters, you bring them all that night. You shine them up, because you know they all get replicas even when they go away. They still have all. I want 18 fucking titles in the ring that night.
Run out of fucking arm space. Just have them dangling on his fucking arm.
Yeah, dead serious. No, their whole entourage. All of your entourage guys get to carry a belt into the ring that night. Fuck shit. You're going to do that one right. It's very little in boxing that we get matchups like that. You know what I mean? Where you have a guy with that decorated getting to face off with each other. Just show it off, man. Show off that gold. They're undisputed 4 times between these two guys.
Well, what do you think? So, like, because this a potential fight with Crawford, and Teofimo is like it's high risk but high reward also, right? Like right now we have the man at 147 being Crawford, and then the man at 140 being Teofimo. We're talking Teofimo having to move up to 147 now, so he's only had 3 fights at 140. He's a stocky dude, so making the weight isn't an issue. But how much do you think size would play a difference? Would play a factor, because he's going to have to move up yet again to 147 to face, potentially face somebody like Crawford. Because keep in mind, like Virgil Ortiz, he's now at 154. His last fight that we just saw him that ended in the first round, he's at 154 now. So I'm thinking that might not be the best plan, at least for fucking for Crawford yet, because I don't think he should be moving up to 154 anytime soon. I think he'll just stay at 147. People are coming up to 147. He could be the man there, and he'll do what Bivol did with fucking Canelo. It's like, hey, this is my division. You come to my division, I'll whoop your ass and I'll send you back to your class. So high risk, high reward for Teofimo, potentially moving up to 147. I don't think it's a good idea for Crawford to move up to 154 to face any of those guys yet, at least. It's a risk, right? It's a risk. Granted, it's going to come with some high reward, but it's a risky fight for Teofimo. I'd love to see it because of the significance of it, but is he the kind of guy who's going to take those kinds of risks, like move up yet again to face a guy like he's
the money
have to move up to 147? Huh?
The money would. Remember, how much he complains about money. Dude, that fight is a $15 million fight, easy for these two guys, easy. The whole world is going to want to see this thing. Crawford, Spence made big noise. I think you put Lopez and Crawford on the same card, let them build this thing up. This fight is a huge fight. All the movie stars will be there. All the athletes. You know how many athletes are going to be at this thing? Because they all know these two guys, dude. These guys have been on ESPN multiple times, and Lopez has that respect in the boxing world and in the athletic world, in my opinion, because of his connection to ESPN. Have you ever seen Lopez on a jump rope, dude?
Yes.
He's one of the best jump. Can you imagine when that gets out there, when that goes viral? You understand? Or him doing his workout. It's because that's what made Floyd, his pad work, right? Was one of the best things they ever put on fucking the HBO After Dark. It really blew him and his uncle up, was that pad work. That went viral for I don't know how long. Still goes viral sometimes out of nowhere. His jump rope, his ab workout is some of the things we haven't never seen in the boxing world. You kind of don't see Oscar De La Hoya, Juan Manuel Marquez, Barrera, who are the other Canelo. You don't see them doing the workouts that Teofimo has shown on some of his workouts. So I think the guy is a ticking time bomb as far as marketability. This is the fight that would get him there, right? This is the fight that would make him a $5 million fight every time he steps into the ring. He's making no less than $5 million, right? And that's what he says he always wants to be. Terrence Crawford is that man. Now, with that being said, and I'm not a total I don't know the total side of business. This is just me talking. If I had the decision, I'm going to tell my son, you can go up there and fight. You're good enough to fight Crawford fucking tomorrow. We don't need a warm up. This guy's elite. This guy's undisputed twice. He's not a rookie.
Even with moving up to 147, no warm up.
We go 147. We do a one night thing where we try to win. We try to become Muhammad fucking Ali of this era. We're doing it in one night. If we don't do it, We come back and we defend our 4 titles or 3 titles. He should have 4, whatever that politic bullshit they got going on at 140. We all know that Lopez is the king at 140. You come back because look, I am going to say this as the same size disadvantage that I have Crawford having at 154 or 160. I have Lopez having a disadvantage going up to 147. It's definitely there. He's not a big fighter at all. So that's there. And I would tell him that. You know, you're doing an uphill battle here. If it doesn't work out, who cares? You come back, you're going to fight Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, fucking Tank Davis. If Tank continues to win, that's my boy, sorry. if Tank continues to win, him versus Teofimo Lopez at 140 could be a huge fight down the road, right? They're both undefeated. They both have a history in the boxing world, like in the American boxing world. They're as far as being known by everyone. Ticket sales, ringside would be fucking. They might be more than Floyd. Down the road here, if these two stay undefeated, you're looking at a fight that could break a ringside record. I'm telling you, Teofimo's he's a ticking time bomb. His wins are starting to make me really believe in this kid and his dad. I know his dad's a knucklehead on the microphone, but whatever he's doing, they're getting the wins. They're collecting titles. It's the real deal over there. And then, what he shows on the kid's dedicated. He might have had mental issues or whatever, but he is dedicated to this sport. His body of work has proven that. So put him in with Crawford. If Crawford wins, Crawford's just the elite guy we always knew he was. You know what I mean? It's just that's Terrence. Crawford's already there. You know what I mean? We already know Crawford's one of the best. This is just about now his age and all that would play into effect if Teofimo was to go up and face him. That's that. So I'd fight Crawford, move right back to 147. I'm not staying at one. If I'm Lopez, I wouldn't stay at 147. Now, granted, if he beats Crawford easily, well then, yeah, the option of staying at 147 is definitely on the table at that point.
Now, I don't know specifically like what kind of deal Crawford made with PBC to try to make that fight happen with himself and Spence, because I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if it's like a one fight deal or a multiple fight deal, because maybe even somebody like Tank, who's still with PBC, it's like, I don't know if they're willing to make those kind of fights. You know, we don't know.
And I hear you on that.
So I don't know to what extent he has a deal, Crawford, with PBC, but if it's something that's a long term or even a short term, multiple fights, it's only going to be his second fight under this deal, this alleged deal that I'm just kind of hypothetically talking about here. That is probably a hurdle. It's going to be a major hurdle to try to get a fight going with fucking because Teofimo is backed up by Top Rank and Aram. We know Aram is willing to make the fights because he has made fights before. Some of them forcefully, but he made them. And even some with PBC, with Wilder back in the day and Fury. But it's like, are they going to do it? I mean, PBC saw what happened when they did proceed to have a Top Rank and fucking PBC fight with Fury and Wilder. They got their ass beat. Are they willing to do it again? If even Terrence is in that deal with PBC, because I don't know where his contractual legal status is right now, but that seems like that could be an issue. I think
I did not hear of a multi-fight signing with PBC. Now, and we've been covering this sport a long time, bro. I don't remember him ever signing a multi-fight deal. Do you remember them ever announcing that?
I don't. No, I just know. I remember Crawford having beef with Top Rank and Aram.
I think
even that sprinkles more fucking interest in a potential
I think Al Heyman just wanted all the risk and reward, and that was all Terrence gave him. He didn't give him a multi-fight deal. What he gave him was there wasn't a promoter to split the pot with, right? Whatever Al Heyman made from that fight was going to go, hey, he pays you guys, he gives you guys your percentages, and then I want everything else. You're not fucking bringing Bob Arum over here, and he's not taking half of what I'm making. So I'm hoping that that's what that deal was. And I got to say, Canelo even talking to Munguia kind of makes me think that that's how Terrence Crawford's deal is with the PBC too, because you would think Canelo, if he was really signed to the PBC and Al Heyman, how they were trying to say, that he would be looking nowhere else but PBC stable fighters. And with his very next fight, what you're talking about fighting Munguia, that's not PBC at all. So I'm hoping Terrence Crawford has that same contract where it was basically Al Heyman just wanted to fuck whoever the other guys were fighting for. Just no. If you want to fight my guys, come with no representation and we'll talk. That's basically what he put on the table there, and they did it. They left their guys.
All right. So hypothetically speaking, right? Teofimo gets past Ortiz in February. Do we have maybe Crawford fighting one more time before a potential major showdown with Teofimo, or just go straight into that?
Bro, those two guys are so money hungry. I don't know, man. These are another two fighters that can cash it in. We don't need to see Crawford fight anyone else. Crawford's at that moment. Back in the day, that we used to have fighters, De La Hoya being one of the greatest at doing it, that just had back-to-back great fights. There was no, I'm going to take a year off and I need a warm-up day when I come back and blah, blah, blah. It was just, the dude's Top Rank lined him up and he fought them all. Even Floyd, for a certain degree, had moments where all of his fights were headliners. Pacquiao, fucking Albert Marquez, Barrera, fucking Juan Manuel Marquez again, Morales. These are just huge fights, back to back to back. We all know that's where Terrence is. We all know that's where Teofimo is. They don't need a warm-up. They could do this thing. It's always about leverage in negotiating, I believe. When they do a warm-up fight and they have to put them both on pay-per-view or whatever, this is all behind-the-scenes bullshit politics that the promoters are going through to see who's going to have the bigger piece of the pie moving into their fight. That's just my opinion. I'm not back there listening to the guys saying it, but I've been around the circle enough to kind of gauge, and that's what's really going on. Is if you don't have solid facts on paper, if both of the guys aren't pay-per-view draws or have never fought on pay-per-view, how are you supposed to say which one's better? So you put them both on pay-per-view and you come back to the table later and go, hey, look, our fucking guy did this and your guy did that, and then they work out a deal. That's just my opinion. Terrence Crawford and Lopez already have pay-per-view numbers to go off of. You know what I mean? We already know how big these stars are. I can tell you, I believe it's the live gate that they're really going to cash in on. That live gate, and you're going to see everyone wants to be in the first two rows. No one really wants, the third row is cool, but none of the movie stars, the athletes, they don't want to be in the third row. Can you imagine the prices those first two rows are going to go for with Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez being the headliners, especially if they do it right and they give it the right exposure. The fight to me that's going to be a mega fight. It's going to be one of those hidden gems. You know what I mean? That, maybe the public didn't see, and then on the night of the fight, it's the most watched thing on that night. Just because of the promotion that everyone that is involved in boxing is going to be telling people it's the fucking one. You have, what is it, 8 titles? If they're undisputed twice, that's 8 titles each guy, right? So 16 titles could be in the ring on this night.
So we'll say, all right, so Teofimo gets past Ortiz, right? Hypothetically, chances are it's going to happen. And we get potentially Teofimo and Crawford later in 2024. We'll say, just predicting, this is like our crystal ball, prediction of 2024, potentially the fighting. Who takes it?
Oh, I'm gonna go Crawford. I gotta stick with Crawford. And hey, listen, Teofimo goes right on my top fucking 10 list, bro. That 5 minutes after the fight, if you might not want to talk to me. I might be jerking Teofimo Lopez off so much on fucking the night after that fight if he beats fucking Terrence Crawford, bro. I'm dead serious. Like the accolades or whatever, the respect that you get from going those divisions and going undisputed in all of them and the opponents that you did it against. Because Josh Taylor was the man too. His resume showed that he was the man, and when he beat him. And then Lomachenko, come on, ESPN's Matrix, the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? And then you take out Crawford. Nah, it's and then you can even throw in they're all from different countries, all different styles, amateur backgrounds. There's so much. No, Telefimo would be the real deal, but Terrence is already the real deal. He's already the Hall of Famer, right? So I'm leaning towards Terrence. The size issue too, and it's timing. Yeah, Terrence is old, but he ain't that old. So it's timing, right? When De La Hoya got Chavez, he was old. You know what I mean? It wasn't no one going there. He's old, but he's not that old. No, fuck no. Chavez wasn't even sitting in the corner anymore. He had to stand up between rounds. You know what I mean? That's how old he was. He had back surgeries, wrist surgeries. Like the dude was over the hill. But Terrence, we ain't heard no shit like that. In his last fight, he looked the best that he's ever looked. You know what I mean? So he's old, but he ain't that old. So no, I'm leaning towards Crawford. Look, go back to the junior welterweights. This is where it kind of sucks for Devin Haney being that outside guy, having that little option of going either way. You didn't find my to-go glass?
I did. Did you want it in there?
Oh no, but it wasn't full. Oh, I must have drank it. He can go either way, but when everyone else has someone to fight, then it sucks for you, right? Because they're not gonna deal with you. So because I think Raleigh will fight, like you say, Garcia. That fight's gonna happen first. You'll have Telefimo fighting Crawford, so they're gone. I would really probably look, and I know this might be not the fight that looks good at first, but I think it would build into something. I'm leaning towards asking Al Heyman to serve up Adrian Broner at 140 for Devin Haney. Broner knows how to sell tickets, bro. It keeps him active. We know it's a guaranteed win. You know what I mean? Just like that's if I'm Devin Haney, he might have to go that low on the rankings.
That is that bad? Like that? Because I mean that is pretty low. Like it's a win.
Devin Haney's still gonna sell. I mean, Broner still sells a ticket, though, in my opinion, bro. You put him on that stage, he knows how to work a microphone. He'll get people talking about. He'll probably do something stupid for have it go viral, anyways. Yeah, to me, it's just business wise sense. It makes sense to go with a guy like Adrian Broner just to keep Devin Haney active because man, the winner of this fucking carousel is going to be outrageous, right? I mean, you can potentially have a huge fight with Ryan Garcia at 140, or we're talking about Devin Haney, who's undisputed at lightweight, moving up as a champion from junior welterweight, maybe moving up to 147 and facing Crawford next. He's talked about doing that. If Crawford was to beat Lopez, he goes 147, or he fights Lopez at 140 for all the belts. His options are really big. They just need to keep him active. And I wouldn't put him in with like a Barbosa or nothing like that. I don't want to try to get him a loss, right? So Adrian Broner, we know, is fucking more mouth than he is fucking fighting. Let's go that route.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's funny. It kind of throws a little bit of added like flavor with Crawford's like previous beef with Top Rank and Bob Arum, only to have that then be on the other corner for a potential money fight with Telefimo, because it's like we know like the issues that Crawford had with Arum, eventually leaving Top Rank, right, and then now. It's kind of like back in the day. Who was it? I think it was Bernard. How he was like cool with Lou DiBella, and then some shit went down, and then eventually DiBella got like fucking Jermaine Taylor or some shit, and then Jermaine came and like beat fucking Hopkins, and it was just this whole drama shit, right? It's almost like a story in and of itself is Terrence Crawford's beef with Top Rank and Bob, and then coming back and now fighting either one of Bob's guys, either Haney or Telefimo. It adds a little bit more of a storyline to just besides the significance of their fights. Now there's a little bit of history. Maybe not with the fighters themselves, but with the promoter and the beef that they had before. It adds a little bit more spice to the potential fights of those two guys.
I would be begging. If I'm in Crawford's corner, I'm begging him to put his feelings to side when it comes to the Lopez fight. There's enough money in this fight to be generated for everyone just to shake hands on that night and move on, right? You don't always have to be best buddies with the guy you're making millions of dollars with. It doesn't mean I'm not saying blood enemies and shit like that. I'm not talking all that, but the beef that him and Bob Arum have, you could bury that for one night, make some millions, and everyone walk their own way. And I think Lopez, especially because Crawford would be the favorite, you're making so much money on this night, man. You're the favorite. You're in your mid 30s, maybe even high 30s himself. You know, you're not going to have this opportunity again. I'm telling you right now. We know that the PBC sucks for pay-per-view, bro. We know it. There's just too much evidence. Benavidez versus Plant, Charlo versus anybody. Canelo's fight did shit. Spence versus Crawford didn't do that great. You know what I mean? Like there's you want to work this deal with ESPN and Fox, and Disney, whoever's running ESPN. You want those guys. You really do. It's either you want, right now to me, Miguel, you either want Disney behind you or you want Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? You're going after that money or you're trying to get on ESPN, because with what Bob Arum, the numbers were with Tyson Fury and Wilder, I mean, they said ESPN fucking made that whole pot. It was like 80-something% of the pay-per-views were through ESPN. So you got to... If I'm Terrence Crawford, I'm burying the hatch. I'm reaching across the table, and I'm working with Bob Arum.
Right. No, that's understandable. I mean, what I was referring to is that it adds a little bit more of fucking more at stake for Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to get this motherfucker back. I'm gonna beat this fucking dude. You know.
Hey, definitely tell Crawford to start pushing. I'm gonna take out his cash cow. That's right. That's right.
Well, that'd be some shit.
Yep.
All right. There's some other news kind of around and about. As long from if what I read online is true, Fury Usyk for September. I'm sorry.
Oh shit!
February.
They moved it again.
February. My bad.
All right, good.
February. Jesus Christ. February 17th is when I'm seeing. Saudi Arabia, February 17th. That's what I've read, at least. Is it official? There's like an official poster.
No, I believe it is official. Yeah, no, that's the fight. Yep, they moved it from what it was supposed to be in December, I believe, the first date.
Yep. Yeah.
So no, that is the date. I haven't heard of them pulling off. No, I mean, it's a huge fight for Usyk. For Tyson Fury, it's just another defense, I believe, for him. At the end of the day, I mean, if he beats Usyk, we are going to talk about the size difference, right? The guy's a cruiserweight coming up and fighting what on paper should be a super heavyweight. He's 7 foot, 380 pounds or whatever he is. I mean, the guy's a giant when it comes to facing these smaller men. So that's always going to, that's going to hold off on Tyson Fury, going that much higher in the legacy part. If Usyk doesn't look good against Tyson Fury's size, isn't that going to be the thing we lean towards when we say, well, him against Lewis, him against Foreman? Well, all these guys were bigger than him. You know what I mean? They're all 6'7". So, that's always going to be a downfall to Usyk moving forward if he doesn't look good against Tyson Fury. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fight. It's more for the legacy part is more for Usyk, in my opinion. This is all about Usyk going. If he wins, what a career this guy's had,
And realistically, what do you think his chances are of actually winning? Because he's obviously not going to want to, be, power fight, face power with power. He's not going to try to use his fucking, his weight, because not like he has an advantage. He's shorter, he's lighter, he's a lighter puncher. Maybe he's the better boxer, right? Definitely the better amateur. Agree, but I mean, he's going to have to fight the perfect fight to avoid. And Fury knows how to use his weight. He knows how to lean on you. He knows how to get you tired. So, sometimes when we see certain fighters, for example, we talked about earlier with Beterbiev and Callum Smith is taller. He didn't fight tall, though. So it's like, all right, it doesn't do you any good to have these natural physical advantages if you don't actually take advantage of them and implement them in the fight. Fury knows how to do that. Fury knows how to put weight on you. He knows how to get you tired. We know he's going to do that against Usyk. That being said, what kind of chances does Usyk have?
No, look, you're absolutely right. The only chance he has, Miguel, is trying to box. We're talking about you can't. Tyson is gonna lean on him. Can you imagine? You seen how he leaned on Deontay? He crumbled him, and Deontay was 6 foot something, and he still took him to the ground. He's gonna do the same to Usyk. If Usyk goes to the ropes and like tries to do a rope-a-dope sort of issue, he's gonna take him right over those ropes. He can bend his back. So no, he's got to stick. He's got to move. He can't get caught in the corner. It's got to be a little man versus big. This is a great little man versus a great big man. Most of the time, the great big men always win this fight. It's just that's history, man. They're both on the same level as technically. Well, who's bigger? Because those punches are going to hurt more, and that's probably what's going to determine the fight. And dude, the bigger puncher is Tyson fucking Fury. So he got to stick and move. He has to. It's gonna be like a Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
when he fought the
perfect fight. He's got to fight the.
When he fought the Russian.
Yeah, exactly. Only he's the Russian and he's fighting the fucking English guy. So it's gonna fight fucking Tyson Drago up in his motherfucker because it's the only way he's gonna be perfect, and he's not gonna knock him out. We were based off of like the few times that what's his name Fury has been in trouble, specifically that fight when he had with Wallin where he got hit and he got cut. It was the left hand that caught him. Now I'm not saying that Usyk has the same kind of power that a natural heavyweight like Wallin had, but Usyk is a southpaw. He's got that power in the left hand. There's a chance that might happen. Granted, the cut is already healed and everything, but the only time that we saw, Fury like really that hurt and cut was with the left. So, considering Usyk is a southpaw, there's chances for him to come out on top. Although those chances are relatively, small. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but again, he's going to have to box him. He's going to have to fight the perfect fight. He's going to he cannot allow Fury to corner him or put him against the ropes. I don't know how the fuck he's going to plan to do that, but it's going to have to be the perfect fight. I don't see how else he's going to be able to win. We can see several different ways for Fury to win. He's going to come in the heavy favorite, of course. It's for all the marbles, right? It's for all the belts. It's the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, one of the most coveted titles in professional prize fighting and professional sports in general. So it's pretty significant. How much of a chance he has? Not a good one, I would have to say.
He's crazy enough to pull it off. Usyk is dedicated and got enough screws loose to like totally flip his style and come in here and just be like, man, he's that guy. He really is. Tyson Fury is crazy enough not to come in fully disciplined. We've seen that, right? He comes in overweight, looks a little flabby, he relies a lot on his natural ability to get him by sometimes. In my opinion, when you come in as flabby as you do in some of your fights. So there's a chemistry for an upset there. Big time. Almost good enough to at least look at the odds to see what is Usyk by decision. They're giving me plus fucking 550. Why not? Just by decision. You know what I mean? Nothing else. Just take Usyk by decision. There's I would tell all the gamblers to look at that bet because Tyson is not due, but very what's the word? Like it wouldn't be a shock to see him get outworked, bro. It really wouldn't. Like, oh man, the guy threw more and landed more punches. No, Tyson's hella fat and sometimes is lazy. Sometimes I think that's why he got dropped by Wilder. He just got bored in the round and you know what I mean, was just being lazy.
Yeah.
When he was on point, that's why he always gets up and beats the shit out of you. Because then his brain starts getting.
And that happened, dude. Like I've heard just say that shit. Things are going so well in their direction that their brain starts to wander because they're kind of bored. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's when they get caught. he's been able to overcome that. You know, he's been dropped a few times. Fuck, for all we know, that happened when he fought Ngannou. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm just like, oh shit,
Oh yeah,
let's get back on track. You know what I'm saying? It's like, God damn it, get
I
back on
forgot
it.
about
And it's
that.
just like, that's how it ends up being afterwards. He ends up, you know, taking the fight in his direction. But that
And
that's
Miguel,
Huh.
and that's another fight where he came in lazy. Yeah, Ngannou. I guess I forgot all about that one too. Yeah, man. So there is a avenue there for Usyk to win this thing. It would be interesting to see what the odds are for fight night.
What kind of commercial success do you think this fight could potentially have or not have? Because we've seen a few times where Fury tried to kind of, you know, ruffle some feathers with with Usyk, but he's fucking, you know, stoic as shit. He doesn't always fall for, and rarely, if ever, falls for Fury's antics. So the promotion for the fight might not be the kind that it was for, you know, Wilder and Fury, or fucking Fury and anybody else for that matter. But you know, at least with Wilder or Ngannou, he had a little bit of a playing partner, a teammate, you know, somebody who was a willing participant in the promotional aspect of it leading up to the fight, you know, the build up to the fight. Usyk isn't really that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not the kind of guy who goes along with those kinds of antics to try to, at least for his own damn good, sell the fight. It seems like the press conferences and stuff like that leading up, the face-off leading up to the fight, might not have that same public appeal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't know what success this is going to have here in the States, because Tyson Fury has really never been that great without Deontay Wilder on the other side of him. And Usyk, there is no market here in America for Usyk. Diehards, yes, but that's not going to get them the millions that they need, because both guys are probably demanding a lot of money for this fight. Now, Saudi Arabia does love both of these guys, though, right? So they might have paid a nice fee for them to be there, where they don't really care about the money that they make outside, at least. And I shouldn't say that. They're covered already going into the fight. Maybe Saudi Arabia is giving them that much money where they're like, hey, their guaranteed purses are already done. We're just worried about, you know, what we're making on the TV rights to around the world now. America being one of the biggest worries, because that's where they make most of their money, is in American television. So that, yeah, that's, you know, we're just hoping Saudi Arabia paid enough. But if they're going off of just pay-per-view, no, I wouldn't have high what's the word? Expectations, yeah, for the fight. Yeah. All right. That's why it's probably in Saudi Arabia, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because like even Fury's the pay-per-view numbers with Fury and Ngannou weren't all that great, you know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, these are domestic, you know, pay-per-view numbers here in the US. What they were elsewhere, like I don't know how pay-per-view works anywhere else, you know, like I'm not quite sure.
Not a lot of money.
Yeah, right. I don't think that's how it works over there. Because I mean, is there even such a thing? Because like weird thing. I have a house, and I mean, not me, but my folks have a house in Tijuana, and whenever we would go down there, the fucking fights will be on TV, like the pay-per-view fights. You know, like
so from what I know, it's all TV rights, bro. So what the promoters will do is they'll go to the big stations of those countries that don't have pay-per-view, and you try to sell the rights to the boxing match. Those TV companies will then go, okay, well, I can sell the commercial. If you're giving me 1 minute commercial breaks, I can sell a commercial at this much money. Then he tries to add up how much money he can make off the commercials, and then gives the promoter, hey, we'll buy your fight at this many millions, and so everyone can make some money. So yeah, you're right. But like, dude, I'm gonna be honest. Don't hold me to these numbers. These are numbers from the media room that I heard word of mouth, but it was something like Manny Pacquiao only got like 20,000 American dollars from his Filipino TV contract, dude. Now in pesos, it was a lot of money, but in American dollars, you know, I think he donated the check. He didn't even take the. He's making 25 million in America. You know what I mean? What the fuck is he gonna do with your 20 grand? Go ahead and let's build some homes. Oh, he's a savior. Okay, all right, whatever.
Yeah, let's put a fucking water well, or put some sort of like some windmill in his fucking city that needs it. Or
he's
something.
a good. I joke around. He's a good guy for doing that. But you hear me. That's why they can donate like that, because $20,000 ain't nothing when you're pocketing $25 million at the other country.
Yeah, at that level, that's fucking pennies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I don't really have any other topics to talk about other than really the only other fights happening this weekend, which is like Michaela Mayer and that English chick, Jonas. I forget her first name, but we have to wait a couple of weeks before we get Munguia Ryder, which is like worth talking about. So no real big fights this weekend, at least. That was kind of was like my next topic. I was like, all right, well, let's take a look at what we got looking forward to this weekend. We kind of have this fight coming up. It's going to be a minute before we get something else going on this fucking month. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing worth talking about. I mean, honestly, nothing worth talking about. We have some boxing. Yeah, you got what I'm saying. Like,
Yes. We'll do our homework and come back with a little Mayor update. We'll do a Mayor build-up show. Yeah. How about that?
There you go. There you go.
You know what? Is that why Clarissa, and we'll talk about this later, but is that why Clarissa and Baumgartner ran into each other in the plane, or are they potentially heading to that fight maybe?
Oh, that could be.
They ran into each other on a plane this week and started exchanging words or whatnot. I don't know where they're going, but now that Mayer's fighting next Saturday, you know how these girls, they're kind of always showing up to each other's fights. It's the only way they can promote themselves. I wonder if they're both going to Mayer's fight this Saturday.
Yeah, because the fight's going to be the champion. The defending champion is the other chick, Natasha Jones. She's the champ and she's English, so the fight's going to take place in Liverpool. So yeah they're probably.
Clarissa always goes over there. Yeah, Clarissa's always in New England too. All right. Well, that's it for day one, show one, bro.
Yeah, not bad, right? We have plenty of stuff to talk about. We were able to, joke around and kind of get